Okay, we have Coco here from Love Pole.
Hello.
Hello, and we just want to have a few questions, ask you a few questions about APC. So I guess first of all, we're just doing name and studio and age, which we know your name and studio. And how old are you?
I am 35.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
I am.
Amazing. And how long have you been polling for?
About 11 years.
Oh, that also I didn't know that it was that long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's good. And how do you feel about being selected for the national finals?
I feel excited. I've never done this competition before. I've never done APC, so I'm super inspired by being selected. I've saw the standard for APC from going to the Victorian Pole Championships. That was super inspiring. So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm also a little bit nervous, but I think that's normal. And yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, great. And have you started preparing?
To be completely honest, I haven't started putting together my actual routine. There are ideas and tricks and combos and things that I've been working on that I'll probably use for my piece. But the whole thing, I haven't actually put it together yet.
Okay. And what does your training schedule look like?
My training schedule, I teach a lot, so I do a lot of hours. Obviously, I'm running 2 studios. I'm teaching over 25 hours a week. So I try to pace myself. So I'll do my own training maybe about 2 or 3 times a week. But that usually consists of, content that I'm teaching as well. So it's, yeah, I guess my own personal training would look like whatever I can fit in when I'm not teaching. But that'll increase when it comes a little bit closer to the competition. Yeah.
So would you say with your teaching and your training schedule, you're going to be doing like something like over 30 hours a week?
Most likely, yes. I'll be spending probably over 30 hours a week doing pole. So I've got to kind of try and make sure that I do lots of conditioning off the pole as well. So that's super important to prevent injury, and trying not to overdo it as well. I think that's important for me, just because of the amount of teaching that I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you do things to help you recover after you've done all of that?
Yeah, I mean, in cases where if I'm injured, I'll definitely go seek, like one of my teachers is an exercise physiologist, so I'll go see her sometimes and do things like dry needling and like rehab exercises if she thinks that I need it. And also I find that, doing my own kind of flexibility program off the pole is super important for my recovery as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have a coach or anyone else helping you prepare?
No, I don't. However, I do bounce ideas off, my own instructors and people, friends that I train with. So I kind of see that as people who help me, with my training.
Yeah, it's always good to have someone.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't have a theme as yet?
I don't have a theme as yet, although I do have a song in mind. So I'm I've got the song in my mind, and I keep running through. I'm sure a lot of pole dancers can relate when you're in the car or in the shower and you're thinking of, oh, I could do that to this part of the music, or so it's in my head. But yeah, the tangible kind of concept is not all there yet. but the musicality, I'm just thinking about that now.
Yeah, it's a good place to start. And it's a big thing. So
Yeah,
you want to know that, yeah, you're getting it right
definitely.
for each comp. And what would you like to tell us about your personal journey through to now?
I guess personally, in terms of performing and competing in a pole competition, I think everyone can relate. It's been a couple of years now that we haven't had the opportunity to perform or compete in a pole competition. So it's been, you know, emotional, I guess, in the way that I don't know if emotional is the right way, but it kind of makes you. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to do something like this again. So I think that, yeah, for stepping on stage kind of, yeah, I guess it does. It brings more emotion than it used to. I think in the past, I would feel very anxious because of the amount of competitions I think I was doing, and just feeling kind of sometimes, to be perfectly honest, obliged to compete. Whereas now I feel like when I'm making the choice to compete, it's because I want to, and not to have to prove anything or prove anything to myself. It's more that I feel grateful just that I can do it, and have the opportunity to create something special and meaningful. So yeah, that's the journey this year, I think.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, it's fantastic to be able to do something you love again.
Yeah.
It was closed for a while.
Yes.
And is there one thing that you would like to ask APC or say about APC?
Yeah, I guess I have a question, and my question for APC is what was the inspiration behind APC, or what catalyzed the existence of APC? What made you guys want to do what you do?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So when I started APC, it was back in 2011, and there was no competition in the country that I felt covered all styles of pole dancing. So there was obviously Miss Pole, which was the hugest, and it's still gigantic, and you had to wear heels in Miss Pole. And I came from a studio that we didn't wear heels, and I thought, well, how are we going to compete in that competition, because we don't wear heels, and the owner of that studio never allowed heels. So we couldn't compete in any other competition. And I was like, what else is out there? And there was only like small pub comps out there then. There was another one, Asia Pacific, but that was at a completely different level, and that was not amateurs. So you either had a pub comp, you had Miss Pole where you had to wear heels, and Asia Pacific, I believe, only ran for a couple of years. And then I used to watch all these YouTubes all around the world, and I was like, oh my God, look at all these things that they're doing, and they don't have heels on, and they're doing backflips, and they're doing contemporary dance and comedy and all these different styles. Why don't we have that here? And I thought, I'm going to create a competition that you can do any style you want. The criteria needed to be fair to all styles, but that you can bring the best version of yourself that you can bring. So if you want to wear heels, wear heels. If you want to do an exotic style, do that. If you want to do contemporary or lyrical or whatever you want to do, do it. You still have got to hit the criteria, so it's fair for everyone, but you can bring the best version of yourself that you want to the stage. So that was the idea behind it. And then I wanted group. I didn't want necessarily doubles. It didn't have to be two. So you can have up to 5. So I wanted that. I wanted battle, because I thought this is just 1 minute of just such a fun routine, and you can just do whatever you want. So that's for tricksters. And then amateur, I wanted a big competition in the country for amateurs, because not everyone's professional. And as you know, with some other competitions, the professionals quite often, they are the same or similar every year for years until it sort of slowly starts to change. I think this year we've seen it change quite a bit. So these amateurs couldn't get there because the professionals held it. So I wanted a competition basically that was for everyone and just to do your best style. And then it just grew and grew. I think we started with maybe 25 people. And when we ran it, it was in Canberra, and I didn't think anyone was going to come from the rest of the country. I didn't think anyone was going to come. And I was quite good friends with the International Pole Championships head judge, Natalie Takanawa, because I'd done a lot of workshops with her and Shell Hafner. And I spoke to her about it and I said, how do I start this? She gave me some guidance, which was fantastic because I had no idea what I was doing. And then it got bigger. And then in the first year, we got Carly Hunter and we got, so she came. She was friends with Natalie, so I'm quite sure Natalie convinced her to come. But she came, she was great. We had prize money in the first year. We had $1,000 because it was in Canberra and we had a little bit of money then.
Cool.
So I think that drew people in. We got Bailey Hart and we also got Maddie Sparkle.
Wow.
So, so the first 3 pros that won were Carly, Bailey and then Maddie. And I know that Bailey did actually say to me afterwards, because people saw her dancing, because she's a beautiful contemporary dancer, they said, can you dance with bare feet? And she was like, yeah, we can do whatever we want. And then the next year it just grew and grew. So we have grown steadily over the years. You know, we get anywhere between 300 and 500 entrants a year, mostly amateurs. And I think the level of difficulty is quite high in our competition. It's not a showgirl competition. It is technical. There is definitely show in there. So we have points, 20 points for show, we have 30 points for dance, but then we have a big percentage, 50 points for technical difficulty. So I think you have to obviously train really hard, as you know, for this particular comp, but that's kind of what it's grown to. But that's how it started.
That's amazing. I didn't know that, the depth of that history. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. And 13 years later, let's see how much longer we can keep going for.
I'm sure you'll keep going for a lot longer.
Thanks. And we're just so excited to have you this year because it's the first year we've ever had you.
Yes,
and we've wanted you to compete in our comp for so many years because you're like a fantastic fit for us. So we're super excited to see what you're going to bring to the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And I'm also very, very excited to compete.
Yay, thank you. And we will see you soon.
Thank you. See you soon.